2. Welcome everybody to SQW 38, The Return.
AKA, thank God we're back.
We are back. Sorry, we've been away for so long. I'm literally scribbling notes as things are happening here. Yeah, we've been away for far too long, unfortunately. Sorry, everybody. But we're here. So yeah, I'm going to tweet out watch us live chatting about wrestling.
WRASS.
Anyways, it's great to have you guys back. I am Dolly Dimofsky, the mouth of the North. I've got to think of a better moniker.
Well, yeah.
Actually, it's funny as I'm probably not even as I'm the mouth of the South because I'm the most southern of us three.
Yeah, let's say you're. John's the most north of all of us. So.
But I'm also the feast in the East.
There, I like that. The feast in the East.
And I'm
JJ,
the best of the West.
The best of the that's perfect. So well, that's it, everybody. We'll see you next week.
Holla, that's it.
We do have a bunch to talk about, catch up on. And it seems like maybe the best place to jump back in is with the Rumble. I think we'll talk a bit about that.
I think
some of the NJPW Wonder stuff, and then there's actually a few other things that we can chat about. So let's chat about the Royal Rumble, which took place just a couple weeks ago.
Oh yeah,
it was this past year was pretty shocking, I guess. Maybe that's the best way to say it. In a better way.
The right kind of shocking.
The right kind of shocking.
The everybody got what they wanted kind of shock.
Yeah,
in a weird way. Yeah, in a weird way. Good job. I'm just gonna jump ahead to the 2018 Royal Rumble here. Next year, by the way, Royal Rumble will be in Phoenix, Arizona. So that has been announced. So
that's the only pay-per-view I'm interested in ever actually going out of my way to go to. Yeah,
I've
done WrestleMania. That's
I've got to now. I will say this: how fitting was it that this year the Royal Rumble was? Let's see, the week prior, the Philadelphia Eagles won to make it into the Super Bowl. Then this was at the Wells Fargo Center on January 28th. And then the week after that, the Philadelphia Eagles won the Super Bowl. So I think it all revolves around the WWE being at Royal Rumble. Yeah.
I think they're going to have to pay a lot of money next a couple of years from now to come back. That was a good luck charm for us.
Yep. Was it last year that Gronk was at the Royal Rumble or something like that, right?
He was at Mania and he helped
he was at Mania
with Andre Battle Royal.
That's right. And got into that feud with Jinder before Jinder took off.
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. So this year's Royal Rumble was, they brought out a ton of. I'll talk about some of the commentators. I always love seeing Booker T. I love seeing Michael Cole. Even Corey Graves, all of them together it actually seemed to work really well. Jerry Lawler, I think it worked out fairly well having everybody kind of. A
4-man team can go south really.
It can
super fast,
especially considering who their 4 men are.
Yep.
But it was less upsetting than the typical WWE commentary has been lately, so it worked out okay.
Let's see here. One of the really surprising things to me going into the Rumble, and this is before we get into any of the results, was I thought, okay, the Royal Rumble, this is it. This is everybody talks about that as being the event. The Royal Rumble, that's the headline. That's the main event for the Royal Rumble. Well, guess what? The Rumble, the Battle Royale, the PUBG Battle Royale, was not the main event because I thought the Royal Rumble was over when it ended, and I changed channels, not realizing that there were still a couple more matches and the Women's Rumble.
Are you serious?
Yeah, I thought it was done. Shows you how I've been out of it. I'm like, oh, that was a great event. Wonderful finish.
For me, that would have been like 10:30. Awesome, it's over. Only an hour or 2 hour show. Excellent.
But no, lo and behold, it was not.
I was exhausted by the time the Royal Rumble itself was over. It was
I think maybe that's why. Maybe that's why.
Yeah, once the men's Rumble was over, it's like, oh man, I've still got quite a bit to go. The pizza's gone already. What am I?
Both of them were gone already. You know what's funny is the Royal Rumble more so than WrestleMania is an event where a bunch of my buddies would get together to watch. I think because it's just so unpredictable, and you love to see some of the legendary stars show up out of nowhere. You love to see some just craziness. To me, that is bigger from a group standpoint, I guess, than WrestleMania. Although WrestleMania, maybe more social media is huge online, but I think in person the Rumble was always fun. That held a special and continues to hold a special place for me. I think we've mentioned that when we talked about the history of the Rumble, or did we ever do a Rumble history?
I think that was the first one, probably.
Okay, probably. Yeah.
Yeah.
And so long, it's been history.
Yeah,
it's about time for part 2 of rehash.
The Rumble for me has that special spot in my heart because it, as you say, it has the surprises. It has the for anybody who's a fantasy booker, the trying to predict who's going to win, who's going to eliminate who, and who's going to go to WrestleMania. Like plotting out January to March or April is always a fun thing for me. I always loved the fantasy book, and just chatting with my buddy Roger at work this all day long about who's going to be, what's going to be. And then we had 2 Royal Rumbles this year in one event. Yeah. And so to me, I was telling everybody, it's like, Christmas every 2 minutes twice in one night. So
everybody got a switch at the Royal Rumble 60 times.
That's right. Is it Daniel Bryan? No, it was somebody else.
Yeah.
We thought you had a great JJ. I was holding on to your prediction as being the prediction, but it didn't end up taking place.
Yeah, it was. Well, I mean, you gotta. It made no sense, so that's why that whole thing. It's like that felt like misdirection out the gate. Like that seems way too fantasy booky for anything else. Like, and the WWE probably loved that so much. Like,
give some context. Give some context. What are you talking about?
The beforehand, the Vegas odds, the booking
odds, yes,
just shot up in the favor of Daniel Bryan, like as a favorite to win at a point. It's like, this makes zero sense. It's fantasy booking at its best, but nobody believed it, but everyone hoped for it.
Everybody hoped, exactly.
It's the one time where you could actually get Daniel Bryan in a ring to win something and not have him have to even wrestle.
Yep.
But hey, I got the Hurricane to come out during that, so that was enough for me.
There you go. Yeah, that was fun. They did have some fantastic stars. We'll get into that in a second here. Yeah, let's cover a few of the kind of the
undercard.
Oh yeah, there was the undercard, I guess you could call it. So kind of kicking things off, Kalisto, Grand Metallic, and Dorado defeated TJP, Jack Gallagher, and Drew Gulak in a 6-man tag team match. That lasted a lot longer than I thought it was going to.
I will. Let me they had some time to kill.
Yeah, that's what it was. So let me just rephrase something. Let me rewind a little bit and tell everybody my story with WWE Network. Back in November, I don't think I brought this up, or maybe I did. I don't know. Back in November, my account, an old WWE.com account that I had set up for like a free month of the network, I had shut that down after that free month, but my credit card was still in there apparently. And so out of nowhere, Jacques Pierre in France at hotmail.com, Hotmail France, apparently started up my WWE, my old WWE account. So that was not fun. I had to cancel that, find a way to cancel it. I had just tons of issues with WWE.com and their tech support. And I kept trying to tell them, listen, I got hacked. I'm actually a subscriber right now. I don't need a second subscription. I got hacked. Just reimburse me, because literally within like 3 minutes of me getting hacked, we had already canceled it. You know, that we had already done the changes. So there was no way anybody could even essentially power it up, let alone do anything with it. No, they couldn't. They couldn't reimburse me. I had to take it up with my credit card company, which meant I had to close my credit card during the holidays, which was just a complete cluster bleep. And I was so upset and fuming, and I kept trying everything over and over and over again, and it wouldn't work. And so finally, I just said, you know what, WWE, I'm sorry. I've tried to be your friend, but it's not going well. So I closed my main WWE account, and I've had to. I actually borrowed a friend's account to watch Royal Rumble when he wasn't able to watch it. He was out somewhere at an event or traveling or something. So he gave me his login info, so I watch it through his account. So,
stick it to the man.
Joke's on you. Stick it to the man. Totally legally. It basically would have been like him handing me his iPhone, but whatever.
Yeah.
And then I relinquished it. So that's all good. But so the undercard, that's what I know about these undercard matches. So yeah, that match lasted I think like 13 or 14 minutes. It was a decent match. I thought 6-man tag. The build up for the actual Rumble, unless you have some pretty intense, cool match set the matches set up prior to the Rumble, you just kind of don't care about them.
No.
And the 6-man tag, and they tried, they tried to make something out of it, but
we should I don't want to diverge from the Rumble recap again, but we should make sure we mention how this might be the last time we see this kind of a 205 throwaway match,
right?
Considering the big changes that have happened at 205 in the recent week or two. So we'll put a pin in that and come back to it maybe after the Rumble time.
Yeah. The next match was the Revival taking down Gallows and Anderson.
Oh, the poor Revival. I don't think one here, but God, oh boy, Raw 25 is another one we could talk about too. But I hope they get some more wins. Like this was a decent enough get the heat back win after the big pounding they took at the Raw 25. But I hope it's on an upward trajectory for them. Please, I bought a T-shirt and everything.
Yeah, well, to go back to the pin we just put in a second ago, the only reason they got their asses handed to them in the first place is because of a certain somebody was supposed to be the one taking that beating to begin with. So at the Raw 25, that was supposed to be Enzo.
Oh, that's right.
Was it? Was it really?
Yeah, they got this whole it was this whole was it Enzo supposed to be Enzo was supposed to take a serious beating at some point. Like it was going to be like I think it was supposed to be the DX thing, but it might have been like the APA situation.
Yeah, I think he was supposed to tag with Goldust, I think.
They were supposed to tag with Goldust and stuff, but because of him getting fired, like a lot of stuff got screwed around with on that show. So they had to make some last minute decisions on certain things, and that whole scenario just really screwed up that Raw 25 show, which we will have to cover after.
Oh yeah, maybe we'll cover that one after. Yeah, definitely. Then you had Bobby Roode defeating Mojo Rawley in another match that honestly it was the US Championship.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. Like
US Open Challenge.
Yeah, I had to look up who was the U.S. champion at one point just in the recent times because I totally forgot it was Bobby Roode because they just don't really seem to care about that title at the moment. It's just kind of hanging out. It's not like the Intercontinental Championship like on Raw because they don't have a world champion. They have a world champion on SmackDown.
They do. True.
Yeah, so it's always there, so they get to sort of focus on it and everything else just sort of drifts away because they can't focus on more than one or two things at a time.
Well, Bobby just needs a feud. He needs something. He's just like glorious guy has a match, and that's okay for a little while. But you have to give him something to work with. I mean, something for you might care about him being the U.S. champ if he had something to care about to do.
Yeah, but like only like the U.S. Open Challenge works for somebody like John Cena. Like that shtick works for John Cena because it's John Cena. Whoever he's wrestling against is going to automatically be elevated just a little bit, even if it's just for that night. But like when it's Bobby Roode, he's barely been on SmackDown. Like hasn't like for what 6 months at this point.
I think
like
so. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, like he doesn't have an established. He's had like one feud, like that was it. Like,
what was the feud against Ziggler?
Was it like I want to?
That's what I'm saying, right?
Yeah,
I can't even remember it. I can't even remember.
Corbin, maybe. It seems like it would have been, but it's just And Mojo Rawley is another one of those guys where it's like, yeah, we got big plans for Mojo Rawley, but we're just not going to bother with them.
Yeah, we're not going to pull any triggers at all.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like at WrestleMania, he had a big thing. Like, he won the Andre Royal Rumble Battle Royale and did a thing with Gronk and all that stuff, and then nothing. He had a feud with Zack Ryder, and that's the extent of his sort of push. Yeah, I don't understand.
Yeah, I don't understand it, but
I understand. I understand why that was on the pre-show.
Yes, yeah. Because the next match was AJ Styles taking on and defeating KO and Sami Zayn. Poor Sami Zayn.
Yeah, that match being the opener was pretty telling about what the finish was going to be. But anyway, it was a fine enough match. I'm happy. I'm happy with it. It was entertaining and a hot, kind of a hottish match to have in the opener. But
bad finish. I mean, like just sort of poorly sort of sequenced out that finish with the no tag kind of pin nonsense. But like
what's kind of interesting, what's interesting is we'll get to the Rumble in a second here, but it all lined up quite well with this match. And I looking back now, I realize, that's why they had this match go first, and why this match ended the way it did. We'll go on to the next one, which is the Usos versus defeating Gable and Shelton Benjamin. Two out of three falls match, and I haven't seen a 2 out of 3 falls match in a while, so I loved it. Yeah, 2-zip. Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah. It was.
I mean, I enjoyed it from the stance of it being a 2 out of best of 3. I guess.
Yeah.
The crowd, the Philly crowd, was surprisingly quiet for most of this pay-per-view, other than the Rumbles, because that's what they were there for. So some of these matches were good. They're fine enough, but they were pretty disposable. And but yeah, for the real meat of the show.
Yeah, it was. I've never liked the Usos, and even though this gimmick is better than what they've had in the past, I still am just incredibly bored by every match I see of theirs. They've got nothing for me. Like the most I've enjoyed of the Usos was like just recently was that mixed match thing against Goldust. Was actually a really fun match.
Oh yeah, we should also talk about the mixed match challenge.
Yeah, there's
a lot to talk about, but
yeah, we have like enough material for 6 shows coming up here.
But yeah,
I'll write that down.
Yeah, I just I don't remember that match at all. I remember it was 2-zip, and that's the extent of that match for me. Like, which is a shame because it was like Shelton Benjamin was like, I can't wait for him to come back, and that is what I get out of it. Multiple Usos matches.
Yeah, I was enjoying it. That was the pizza delivery match, I believe it was.
That's right.
I think for the exact same match, I think that's when the pizza came.
That's when the pizza showed up for you as well, huh? Yeah. Well, we all know exactly what we were all thinking. Before we get into the actual Rumble, I want to talk a couple of. There were two more matches that weren't Rumble based. You had Cesaro and Sheamus defeating Rollins and Jason Jordan.
Yeah, in a kind of nothing match that did nothing. It's just that was. I really like Sheamus and Cesaro. That's a good team. They do real well together. But the Jason Jordan thing is it was dead on arrival and they're making it worse.
Yeah. Like what's the quote from The Simpsons? He's already dead.
Yes,
he's already dead. He's already dead. Then you had Brock defeating Kane and Braun Strowman. Brock won. Hashtag Brock won.
Hashtag Brock won, yeah.
That was exactly the match it was supposed to be, and it was the exact match that they gave us, and just 3 hosses throwing down. That was all that match was, and it worked. I mean,
with the exact finish you'd think, and
yeah. It was visually, interesting. So that's, even if the match wasn't exciting, like just the visuals of the match was really fun to see. Just like I said, 3 big dudes just throwing each other through tables and wrecking each other. That's fine for a match that really wasn't supposed to be anything to begin with. Like you knew full well that match wasn't gonna. Kane wasn't gonna walk out world champion.
Right.
In the wrestling.
No, that's right.
So.
And then we get into the actual Rumble. We'll do the men's Rumble first, and we'll do the ladies' Rumble. I think it was extremely entertaining Rumble. You had Rusev. Rusev was the first entrant. Then Finn came out right after, and those guys they were at it for quite a while, actually. I can't remember what Rusev went out. I think 12th. It looks like he went out 12th, and then Finn made it almost to the very end. Yeah, which I was really. I mean, I was kind of pulling for, but the lineup I think they had was pretty good. There were a couple surprises in there for sure.
They saved most of their surprises for the women's one. There was only a handful. So.
Yeah.
I was gonna say they tried to treat the Dolph Ziggler coming out as a surprise. It was hilarious to me.
Oh man.
That's. I wonder if because of some of the chaos of the last the few weeks leading up to the Rumble, how many changes were taking place, and then at the end they're just like, let's just throw Dolph in. Just throw Dolph in there. That'll be the surprise.
Yeah,
that's all we got. I will say one thing that Elias. I'm really digging the guitar, the dumb guitar stick thing he has going on, man. That I don't know what it is, but it's just so stupid it works for me at least.
I mean, I love anytime you just take your gimmick and just run with it.
Yep.
So it's like it's a dumb gimmick, but like he's just like it's my gimmick though. So I'm gonna every chance I can, I'm gonna be out there and really just ham it up and make it work. And you can see the crowd starting to respond to it too. Like they really are feeling it, and so it's like Rusev. The crowd used to boo the hell out of him, but once he started showing his personality out there week in and week out, and he started becoming, active on Twitter and stuff, and being the way he's on there and stuff, like the crowd Rusev really just
unchained.
Now you have the whole Rusev Day thing, which just is brilliant, and he's really leaning into it, and it works out really well for him. So,
with Elias, I he kind of had that moment in this Rumble that it felt like when Punk had that time in the Rumble where he was doing the promo in between everybody who came in, and it kind of felt that way, and it certainly played to Elias's strengths as a character. I just don't connect with Elias that much as a worker yet. I find that his style doesn't jive as well with the character and the promos he does. I think he's getting there, but I don't think he's quite there for me to really latch on to him. I'm happy with him. I'm happy he got that spot. That was a big spot for him to be featured like that. I was going to say, I was going to throw in one with the Rumble, the Rey. I'm sure we'll talk about Rey, but the two NXT additions on here, I really popped big for Andrade. I didn't think I would, though. I guess with how good NXT Takeover was the night before, I guess I really was pleased with his performance there. And when he came out, I was, oh man, here we go. This is some good stuff. And
it was nice to see. It was nice to see, like, from NXT wise, like selling the injuries from the night before too.
Sure,
that was like good. Yeah, that was a hell of a match that you two went to. Yeah, should be taped up.
Same thing with Adam Cole. Like, he should have no back. He should be snapping too, based on that chair spot.
All taped up and
And there, you mentioned Rey. You mentioned the Hurricane.
Ray looked real good.
He was in
yeah.
skinny pants. He wasn't wearing. I was like, and no knee braces. I was like, I was trying to explain to the room, like, oh my god, he looks like he's back in 1998. This is fantastic.
Because he's like doesn't have his like steroid bloat anymore.
No, exactly.
So
I mean, if Triple H has any kind of a brain, he should be throwing money at that guy, saying, "Please come on the 205 Live and be the veteran that build a show around."
Yeah, they've been doing everything in their power to try to replace Rey Mysterio.
Only Rey Mysterio could replace Rey Mysterio in the end, which is pretty funny. Yeah. But I mean, you even had, it all boils down to Shinsuke and let's see, it was Shinsuke, Finn, Roman Reigns,
and John Cena.
And John Cena, yeah, those are the four that were left in there.
That was the bottom four where you're just sitting there looking at it. It's like they know exactly what the hell they're doing in there right now with like the WWE with the booking of that final four. Yeah. Like, oh, you're just working the crowd real hard with this. Like everyone, all the people that want Finn or Shinsuke to win are always going to be worried that Roman or Cena are just going to end up winning this thing. So having those four, it was making me like, oh come on, this like I was actually into it. Like I was like, just
both getting angry and enjoying it.
Yeah, like, and you're just like you're caught up in the moment. Like this might actually happen, but they also might screw me.
They might like completely purposefully screw me as a fan of those guys.
It's a focused attack on me and me alone that Roman Reigns has the potential of winning.
That's the funny thing. Like being screwed is a completely plausible notion in our minds. Like, they'll probably screw us, and
we know full well, 100% that Roman Reigns is wrestling for the championship at WrestleMania. There's no doubt in anyone's mind. It's like you can just hand it to him, and that's okay, but giving him like his third or fourth coronation at the Royal Rumble would be like
in Philly again. Imagine. I mean, he thought the Super Bowl win was bad. for crowd reaction outside.
We also need to talk for 2 seconds about Heath Slater's storyline throughout that match.
That was a tremendous bit of business there.
Yeah, where he just. Well, he was taken out on the entry ramp, never made it to the ring, and then every single person on the way down. I forget how many wrestlers. Five or six wrestlers.
He entered at 5, and he didn't get tossed in until Sheamus at 11.
So every wrestler from there on out kicked him in the head on the way down.
And the amazing part was by the second he gets in, Sheamus gets thrown out right. Like Sheamus, there was a battle between 20 seconds or 33 seconds of who was in there least.
The one person that stopped to help him as opposed to kick him in the head paid for it too.
Yep. Oh God, it was brilliant. That played out really well. They did a good job of.
I sort of wanted it to go the other way, and like it took about 5 or 6 more wrestlers like kick him on the way backstage or something after he was eliminated. Just like, it was really fun. That was good fun. That was comedy and wrestling done right, for a change.
And it made sort of, I won't call it a dead zone, but like a string of guys who weren't going to win got to do something at least funny and keep things hopping. That's one thing about this Rumble. I don't think it's necessarily the most memorable Rumble, but it was certainly in the moment. It was very fun and hopping and
entertaining.
They got that ring pretty filled up at one point too. You don't see that super often in the Rumble because, as you see, when they fill up the ring, it becomes impossible and unbearable to watch. Because nobody can do any moves. It's just a bunch of people leaning in the corner,
leaning and pushing and
pushing and pulling and stuff. And it just looks fake, and it's not fun anymore. So.
But there was apart from that, maybe the once or twice where the ring filled up, and it had a good pace. Really enjoyable. I think the whole thing lasted for like around an hour or so, so
Yeah.
not bad. And then Shinsuke ends up winning it by defeating Roman Reigns, which for the hell of me, I thought it was going to be Roman Reigns. I'm like, okay, there's no way they're going to let Shinsuke. I actually thought it was going to be Balor. I thought it was going to be Finn. And when it wasn't, when he got thrown out, I thought, that's it. No, it's done. You got 2-on-1 right now. Forget it. There's no
forget it.
Yeah, they really milked that Final Four really well. Like, to really just toy with you the entire time, and they really worked the crowd really well with that Final Four and the way the crowd and it's just like and having Cena and Roman like, nah, this is really just between me and you.
For once, they did great.
Yeah. Nice. But
and then after the match, they asked Shinsuke who he wants to wrestle.
Yeah, they wasted no time on that.
Yeah, but they needed to prepare you because we know full well, like, it's like, listen, you're gonna get the match you want, and we're gonna give ourselves the match we want. So we're telling you right now, you're gonna get AJ Styles versus Shinsuke Nakamura at WrestleMania.
Mm-hmm.
We're still gonna get the match that we want. We're still gonna get the Roman Reigns versus Brock Lesnar, most likely at this point. Yeah, like but we're letting you know right now that regardless, you're getting the match that you wanted.
By the way, I love this is completely not related to anything, but I love that I can see my reflection in your glasses.
In my glasses, yeah. There's I did not upgrade to these
non-glare gunner.
Yeah, non-glare lenses on this particular pair. So yeah.
So overall for the Royal Rumble, I'm gonna give it a thumbs up. I enjoyed it. The pace of it from my standpoint.
Yeah, for sure.
Royal Rumbles aren't ever good matches, but it's all about the spots, and they hit the spots right this time. So much better than most of the previous Royal Rumbles.
Which leads us to the final, and I thought the match was over. For some reason, I had thought the women's Rumble was earlier, and it completely blanked me.
And you just couldn't remember who won.
I couldn't remember who won. Yeah, but they had the 30 women Royal Rumble, which it was the first one ever, right?
Mm-hmm.
You had a lot of surprises in this one. I mean, I'm naming up Vicky. You had Tori Wilson out of nowhere. You had Kelly showed up.
The star. They really pushed hard Michelle McCool in that particular.
Yeah, Michelle McCool.
They gave her an Undertaker-like push apparently.
Yep, yeah. Lita. I mean, it was wild. It was a pretty intense.
I was happy to see Molly Holly. I always like Molly Holly.
Oh my god, I popped big for Molly Holly. I could have done with less Kelly and less Tori Wilson in there throwing out people, but you know.
Hey, we got the Hurricane and Molly Holly in one pay-per-view again. That was
yeah.
And you had Trish Stratus at the very end.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, big pop.
It's funny is because I looked at Trish Stratus. I'm like, wow, she's been in wrestling for like 20 years. Man, she's got to be like in her late 40s, early 50s. She's like a year older than I am. No, man, John, she is our age, man.
I know.
And she's out there, and she still looked great. She still had her moves. Good for her.
Yeah.
And they actually had stare down moments that actually worked in the women's Rumble. Like people. Because when Roman and Cena stared down, no one was really buying it so much.
Yeah.
But Trish and Mickey stare down, everyone's ooh, I remember this view from before. Like it was pretty fun, I must say.
And in the end, we had Asuka winning. Yeah.
She's two Japanese people winning at WWE's big thing is kind of it was one of those things where it's like there was suspicions that Nakamura was going to win the Rumble heading into it. And I was like, yeah, that makes sense. But like Asuka's going to win the Royal Rumble. Like it's the one time where obvious booking is okay. You've been leading up to her being unstoppable. Of course she'd be unstoppable in the Royal Rumble too. Like that's gonna be her first loss, is her being just unceremoniously tossed out by a Bella. No, that's not gonna happen. To me, it sort of made up my mind. They're like, well, Nakamura's not going to win. But they're not going to do that twice. Vince isn't going to allow two Japanese people to win. go to WrestleMania for championship matches. But no.
I was very happy that it happened. I mean, it's sad you have to say that, but that is a big step for them to have done that.
Yeah.
But kudos for going ahead and doing it. The question is, will either of them win at WrestleMania? I don't know, but we'll see.
Yeah.
Well, and what's going to happen at WrestleMania now that they announced Ronda Rousey made her debut at the Rumble at the very end?
Yeah,
at the very end. It helped, like Trish being 30. You get a cheer for it being Trish and a cheer for it's not Ronda Rousey either.
It's not Ronda. Yeah. That was a smart move too. That was a real smart move.
Yeah.
Yep.
Ronda Rousey in her Roddy Piper homage T-shirt and actual Roddy Piper jacket. That jacket that she was wearing was handed to her by her son. Yeah, before she went out, Colt handed her the jacket to wear. So was really Roddy Piper's jacket that he would wear.
That's cool. That's cool. Yeah. Very cool. Yeah, I think she didn't do quite a good mic work. Just kind of pointed and looked around.
And
kept pointing. And
badly pointing.
Badly. Yeah, they're going to need to work her for that. But apparently she's got a long-term contract with them from reading. So
starting in March, I think. I think she has to finish that movie that she's doing, and I think she's available. Yeah, I hope that in terms of WrestleMania, that it does turn out to be some sort of a mixed tag with the McMahons rather than interfering in a big moment for Asuka. Who hasn't announced her opponent yet?
Because they probably don't know either. I feel like I feel like they don't want Asuka and Rousey on the same show right now at the gate, but you got to have Rousey on the same show as Stephanie, because that's absolutely what the storyline has to be.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I wouldn't be shocked if Asuka somehow challenges both champions and they end up with a triple threat with both championships on the line.
Yeah.
Just to have two people on the match, but
yeah. But I mean, we have another women's first coming up in the next pay-per-view, so we have that Elimination Chamber coming up for. Is it for the title? I really haven't been paying attention. Because in that match.
The women's elimination chamber is for Alexa's championship, and the men's is for the number one contender for Brock at Mania.
Yeah. So featuring Elias Sampson won the ability to come out dead last, as if that means he's going to win for sure.
Sure.
Brock Lesnar versus Elias Sampson, main event WrestleMania. That's
main event anywhere in the country.
Yeah. The thing that WWE doesn't have to worry about selling tickets, because WrestleMania will sell out before matches ever announced. So it's about moving network subscriptions at this point.
That's exactly it.
The fact that the Rumble was this good, I'm sure will lead to a lot of tickets selling very quickly for Mania this year. I
more subscriptions. I mean, I think I would not be surprised if there was a big uptick in subscriptions coming in. And I'd be curious if the Ginger Mania had any effect last year, right? Because his push sort of opened it up to a whole different audience. So so that was a Rumble, very good. And we've already been talking for about 40 minutes. So we'll touch on a couple quick things here briefly, and maybe we'll save Raw 25 and the mixed tag stuff till the next episode. But I did want to touch real quick on I hate to say real quick, but the New Japan was pretty phenomenal. The last oh my gosh.
The last several New Japan everythings have been because Omega versus Jericho.
That was wild.
That was
a lot of momentum.
Yeah. You had the Bullet Club sort of starting to crack apart. You had Cody turn on Omega, which was a big deal. You've got Rey Mysterio coming in.
He's everywhere now all of a sudden.
Cool,
I'm very excited for a Rey Mysterio New Japan Pro Wrestling match. You wouldn't think that's a thing that he has never done before, but no, he's never had a New Japan Wrestling match before. So
getting this bump from the Royal Rumble and then hopping right into New Japan, I think, is really good momentum for him.
Yeah,
Really
Yeah.
good momentum.
it was funny to see after Jericho, like within like days after doing his New Japan match, he's on Raw again.
Oh,
For
yeah.
just a
Yeah.
split
Well,
second.
I mean, isn't Jericho basically feuding with Naito now? And that that match could definitely happen in Long Beach too, right?
Yeah. That's I would assume it would at this point. Like they're really working hard on that Long Beach show. You can tell that the United States has become a huge market for them, and they realize that. Now.
Yeah.
Why
Oh,
not?
they're on the way, man. They're on the way.
Yeah. I mean, I have 2 Bullet Club shirts already, and I bought those in a store. I didn't order them online. So,
Really?
yeah. Oh yeah.
I may have to look into that as well.
Hot Topic has pretty much any Bullet Club related merchandise you may need. Hats, backpacks, shirts, socks. They got it all.
I'm just looking at all the results from Road to the New Beginning and how there were just some day after day after day. You had folks wrestling and defeating each other, and losing, and
yeah. Okada versus Sonata was a great match. Kind of, that was well worth checking out. Like that was just 2 days ago.
Yeah.
So,
on the 10th. Yesterday or Friday.
It's Japan,
yes,
so
yeah.
It happens, 2:00 in the morning or something for me. It's like
5 o'clock in the morning for me, so I wake up for that to that kind of stuff. So yeah, New Japan has been rocking. I mean, I've been seeing just tweets like crazy, and it is usually this time of year because you'll have things like Wrestle Kingdom and everything else that start to happen. But apart from the Rumble, I have. Maybe because of this podcast, I've circled January and February as kind of my New Japan time frame because I get really big into it around this time, and then it starts to slow down a little bit when the other WWE stuff kicks in. But some really good stuff.
They announced that for when Fire Pro hits to PS4, that part of that is they've got New Japan Pro Wrestling guys.
That's awesome. Yeah. So, when is it? Do we know when that's supposed to happen?
No, I think summer. I think is the thing on that. So
can't wait. That's gonna be.
We're not getting Fire Pro for the Switch, are we? Because since Christmas, I got a Switch now. By the way.
Yeah. And you got just don't play the WWE 2K18.
No. Here, let me tell you about that because I bought that on sale. There's a good 30 seconds of a delay during entrances.
Oh man.
It's somewhere on my Twitter feed. I posted a video of Enzo's entrance, and you hear him talking a good 30 seconds before you see the animation start.
Oh man,
the one-on-one matches are fine. They're fine. They play fine, but everything else is like you want to have a elimination chamber match? Good luck.
we gotta build that cage.
Whoever they handled to port that game did not do a good job of it because I know I have NBA 2K18, and that actually is really well. It works perfectly.
It started off real bad, but they patched it a couple of times, and it came to be. They've thrown out a couple of patches for the Switch version, but nothing's fixed it.
Fire Pro would be wonderful on it.
Fire Pro would be perfect. I've been playing a lot of it on PC, and it is absolutely phenomenal.
Can't wait. Well, there is one more thing we can talk about, and it is how amazing is it that we had just watched literally this time last year the documentary of the XFL, and was teasing starting it up again. Well, late last year, when Vince created Alpha Entertainment specifically for sporting-related things, we all knew what was coming. The XFL is making a return in 2020 for just absolutely no reason whatsoever. The confidence, I don't have a lot of confidence in this thing working out again. Again, it's 8 teams. All the teams are owned by the XFL. And it's the rules behind it are just so bizarre. Some of these,
they're going sort of the exact opposite in some ways of the XFL, which is just hilarious in itself. Like, well, it didn't work the way I tried it the first time, so let's do it
Let's go the
exact
completely opposite. Yeah.
Like,
Let's make it really safe. Lots of padding, inflatable head helmets.
Yeah, like no cheerleaders, no. It's supposed to doubling down like the last time. Like,
oh yeah, no, very, very few far between cheerleader crotch shots.
Yeah, right. No going into the locker room. You know what's interesting is so the way they presented this was they had Vince McMahon do sort of this live mini weird press conference where he was standing
green screen
press conference.
Mm-hmm.
And then he did Q&A from journalists and the media.
Yeah.
And every time somebody asked him a question, I mean, the response was almost always, well, we're going to leave it open, and whatever the fans want, they can let us know, and we'll take into consideration. They do not have a single idea of what they want to do with this.
He's got people whispering in his head telling him why the NFL is losing viewers. So this is your chance. All you have to do is do the things that everyone else is saying why the NFL is losing viewers.
That's exactly it.
Then that's all it is. That's all it is. They have no idea what they kind of don't know what any of that is yet. And they kind of we'll figure it out.
The lines are funny. It's going to be faster. It's going to be they're going to be shorter games. We're going to be safer. We're going to stand for the anthem. Okay, Vince, how are you going to do that? We don't know yet, but we're certainly open to ideas.
Yeah, we want you to tell us how we should do it.
You tell us. You do the work for us. I will say that. Sorry, go ahead, JJ.
No, I was gonna say if you want you don't want the fans to tell you what they want. That is a bad idea.
That's who you don't want.
Because the things you have announced that you're not going to do is what the fans will tell you that they want. So if it were up to the fans, they want no helmets. It looked like old football, like leather helmets.
The fans will tell you they want Daniel Bryan to be the quarterback of the top team.
Yeah.
I will say that
Brock Lesnar on there. He was on the Vikings for a cup of coffee.
The LA Brocks and the New York King of Bryan. What's interesting is the big dogs. Yeah, God, I hope they don't. The ability for Vince McMahon to quite literally look like a human corpse as he's out there talking as an embalmed.
He
just looks so bad.
Every time somebody asked him a question too, he just looked like how dare you ask me anything?
Yeah. Quite literally. Why are you even? Do you know who I am? I'm Vince McMahon.
My employees fear me. Why don't you?
Yeah. Hopefully, this just means we actually do lose some Vince McMahon influence in the WWE at this point.
Apparently he's not going to have a ton of influence in this either. He's essentially he created it, and he's going to be stepping back away from it. So I think he's just launching, but who knows what that means.
That's not Vince McMahon's DNA. He has no.
He is the wizard behind the curtain.
His best line from that whole press conference was about the 3-hour show. Nobody wants to watch a 3-hour game.
Really?
Thanks, buddy.
It's so long and monotonous. I don't know why anybody would want to watch that kind of thing.
Interesting. As opposed to multiple 3-hour shows a week too. Imagine, geez, who would sit through any of that?
Imagine there was 8 hours of football every week.
We'll so that we don't go 8 hours or 3 hours or 1 hour, we're actually going to cut our show now. We're going to stop for this week. We actually had a really good show. We talked quite a bit about a lot of things here, and there's still so much to talk about to catch up on, which we will in the coming weeks as we figure out the strange path of our podcast. But we want to thank everybody for joining us on SQW. We enjoyed our time together. We enjoyed our time with you. If you didn't want us to enjoy it with you, we were there. We were inside your ears, in your iPods. We have infiltrated your laptops wherever you listen to us. We do thank you. Please feel free to tweet or send us messages at SQW Podcast on the Twitters. You can find us individually. I'm at Dolly Domovsky. Where can we find you, JJ?
At _double_J.
And John?
I am at John Kehoe. That's spelled JONKEHOE.
And you can find our wonderful compendium of podcasting over on iTunes. I think we're on Stitcher. I think we might be on Google Play and also on sidequesting.com. Take care, everybody. We'll see you on the next SQW.